Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Two Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. You know, we're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we're ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Two Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Two Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actor Josh Banday with me. So welcome, Josh.
Welcome to me. Welcome to you, Mike. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored. I'm so excited to be on your podcast.
You know, that may have been a little too excited. I don't, your expectations are obviously too high.
Did I oversell it a little bit? Let me try one more time. Hey guys. God, I'm so tired. That's
Now you've got the vibe.
This is it. This is it. Okay, great.
No, Josh, welcome. I've wanted to talk to you since you did Big Bang.
Oh man.
I've watched you in a ton of stuff since then, but one of my favorite Big Bang episodes. And I think the best part of the episode is just you going, nah.
That was a really fun, crazy first thing to do. It was one of my first gigs.
Yeah.
And it's a show. There's some shows where you get on camera, right? It's kind of loose. You get to improv, you get to like make up stuff. Not Big Bang. It is tight as a drum. You get the script.
Heard that. We've had a few from the, not the main cast, but kind of the auxiliary cast, and that's what they said. There's no changing the lines, no ad-libbing, no improv.
Nope. You stick to it. You do everything by the book. And I was there, and I threw in one little look at the end of that, because I think technically the shot is supposed to end on them. And I'm like, oh, it would be funny if this character just kind of gave something extra. And I remember I did it in rehearsal, and this hush falls over the crowd, and everyone's like, and they all look at the showrunner, and he's got his arms folded, and then he kind of nods and does a thumbs up, and then like the room erupted.
Oh, it's awesome.
It was just like, oh.
Were they erupting because the performance was good, or just because you got away with it?
I think, it's kind of half and half. I'm pretty sure it was definitely like, wow, I can't believe, no one does that. So it was, yeah. And then later on, someone was like, that was great. Don't do that again. I'm like, okay, great. Thanks.
Well, when you're first starting out, why not take the shot?
Might as well. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen besides never working again in the business?
Well, that's right. That's right. Maybe it's
That's it.
maybe that's too much of a risk.
A little bit too much.
You just play dumb though. Oh, I didn't even know I was doing that.
Oh, was that really? I thought you wrote it. Let me someone get me a script. I thought it was in there. That's how you play it.
You know, I in the '90s, I put myself through college. I owned a couple comic book stores, so I did a ton of conventions back then.
Get out of here.
Yeah, a ton. So that episode just cracked me up because that's kind of what it was like. Especially like it's changed a little now. You got cosplay and it's a lot more inclusive, especially with women. But back
Hmm.
in the '90s, it was basically just guys.
It was a bunch of dudes playing dress up,
That's
you
it.
know, getting sweaty all over the comic books, getting all kinds of that. I remember that, man. I was there. I did the Long Beach comic book convention. I did the Anime Expo. I did E3 before,
I mean,
all
they're
before it was
awesome.
cool.
You know,
They're
99% of the people you meet are just terrific. You get
they're
a
really
couple
cool.
boneheads, but most
I
of them,
mean, that's anywhere you go.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy fun. What is that? What's your comic of choice? Let's say we're all the comics all of a sudden Thanos does a snap and they all disappear. What's the one you're keeping? And you like, this is the one that stays.
You know, I started with Titans or Teen Titans.
Oh, yes.
So I would probably pick that one. I mean, I love Spider-Man and I can go Marvel DC for about anything, but
Yes.
Teen Titans was always my favorite.
Was it the old school Titans with the what was it, Avalanche's betrayal there and in
That's
that
right.
that rocked me, man. That
Yeah.
rocked my world.
That was some good
Incredible.
stuff back then.
It was.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was.
Well, and they
For
did a
me,
great job with that cartoon when it came out.
it was so great.
It was really good.
I
I
tried to get on that.
nothing against the tiny Titans. That's great for the age group, but you know, me and Brett, we love that older, the older version that occasionally would play the Japanese version of the theme.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was good stuff. Did you have a favorite growing up?
I was partial to Silver Surfer because my older sister would read it, and we read a bunch of Silver Surfer
You know,
together. A
we're
bunch of
getting a female surfer now.
yes, that's interesting.
I thought
That
so.
is interesting. I don't remember a female surfer from the comics. Is this a new invention or is this something
I
I just wasn't
I
part of?
think there's a version in the comics. I'm guessing that it came after I got out of the comic book store business because I don't
Yeah,
remember either. But I
I
think
don't
there might be a
remember.
version. I mean, there's so many. You got a multiverse now. There's probably one out there somewhere.
That's true. That is true. I'm still just like, hey, why don't we get, Storm really, her story is so good. And like,
Yeah.
let's get into that. Give Phoenix a series. Like she deserves
There's a
some.
bunch. Have you checked out X-Men '97?
I am so scared to watch it because I
Pretty good.
loved the original. Is it
Yeah,
good?
it's good. It's worth.
Okay.
It's worth. Like episode 5, I think is the one
Yes.
everybody's freaking out about. Uh,
Yes.
so I think I've only watched the first 6. There's not that many more than that out, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
well
All right.
done. Yeah,
That's a
I
big
think it's
endorsement.
safe. Yeah, I wouldn't
Okay.
say it's perfect, but it
Yes.
holds up pretty well when you compare it to the '90s cartoon.
Okay. That's good. I love it so much. Okay. I'm going to get into it. I'll give you a full report.
Yeah, please do. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm watching it and I'm like, this is pretty good. And then episode 5, I was like, okay, that was pretty.
They hit it. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. All right. That's good. That's good.
It's a great time to be a nerd.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to hide it anymore. Just tell people what you're nerdy about, and they'll kind of flock to you.
What's the new nerd though? Like there's got to be something that's unpopular to be and subversive.
There has to be, but I don't know.
I don't know. Like science kids are cool now and like yeah, comic book nerds, anime nerds are cool. I
It
gotta.
might be athletes.
It'd be great if the nerds are beating up on the athletes. It's like, are you gonna do shot put now? Oh, give me that ball. Whoa, this is heavy. Oh my god. Okay, like what is the new? That'd be hilarious. I would.
My nerd group in high school, we were all athletes in a sense, but it was like we had the backup quarterback. Most of
Mm,
us were riding the bench. We
yes,
were on the teams,
that's
but
right.
we weren't really playing.
Yeah, bench
We
warmers.
saved our playing for the weekend when we were playing D&D, that type of stuff.
Yes, yes. That's when it's fun. That's when you get to be. That's when you get to be first team. You know.
Yeah.
Because when you're Paladin or something, oh man.
They didn't appreciate us, rolling characters in the dugout before games.
It wasn't for some reason it didn't it didn't register with them. They weren't like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. That's a great group though,
It's
man.
your
When you
turn
get,
at bat, but you know what? Let me tell them to hold on for a second.
hold on, let me roll for initiative and perception here. Okay.
Can you
Some
imagine the
reason.
guys? You're walking up to the plate and you stop for a second, pull out some
Yep.
dice and roll them.
That's the new cool though.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone people be like, that kid's awesome. I'm watching MMA fighters call out like the animes that they've watched and like do like nerdy stuff before their fights.
Pretty
And I'm
cool.
like, what? Wow. I would
Well, how
have
about
loved
that one?
that.
Did you try One Piece?
I did. I loved One
I
Piece.
did
I
too.
was definitely a Dragon Ball Z kid.
Yeah.
That was the
It's kind of
business.
cool that they're to the point. Like One Piece was basically what like watching a superhero movie. They
It
just
was.
all be pirates, but everybody in the show had a power.
Yes, that's right. And they were wacky and fun and weird. They didn't, I mean, like, that was one thing about X-Men that was like I kind of appreciated eventually
Yeah.
is the powers for some of them ceased to be cool. Like there was like eyeballs who's just got a lot of eyeballs. And it's actually kind of a detriment to who they
Yeah.
are. They're very sensitive. It's not good for them. I'm like, that's a great direction to go in. It fills out the world. But
It does. I mean, I love the X-Men back in the day, but
yeah.
they got so complicated. But the
Yes.
90s especially, they spun off into so many series and they were all connected.
Yeah.
You had to buy like 10 or 12 titles just to get the main story.
Just to keep up. But that's when like Batman released like Hush,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was just just singular,
Hush was
beautiful
amazing.
story. I'm like, when they turn that into a movie, like I'm going back to the theaters
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that story is so good, you
So
know?
good. I think we love that one, my son and I, and Long Halloween. Love that one too.
Yes. Oh,
I
yes.
gotta. This is as close as I can come to a good X-Men story from my comic book days.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't really involve the X-Men, but I'll tell it to you anyway.
Okay. Okay.
I went to a show. It's back in the probably late '80s, early '90s, and I had my little table I was working, but I was walking around to see who else was there, and
Hmm.
John Byrne was there when he was the artist on X-Men.
Yes.
His line to get to see him was out the door. I mean,
Yep.
you'd have been waiting all day to get in.
100%. Mhm.
But next to him was this unknown artist. Nobody knew him, didn't know who he was. He was working on this comic for DC called Infinity Inc. It's brand new.
Okay. Yeah.
And I knew him from that. I liked it. I was always Infinity Inc. was supposed to be the sons and daughters of the Justice Society. So that's the
Okay.
well. So who that was Todd McFarlane,
Oh my
but it
God.
was before Spider-Man. So
Yes.
nobody knew who he was.
Oh,
I spent the whole day with him, just
dude.
hanging out, talking comic books. It was like the best day of my life. And
Get
then
out of
a
here.
couple of months later, he started doing Spider-Man and just
Yeah.
blew up.
And he blew up.
And I always
That's
tell that story because
insane.
I was like, if I gotten in John Burns' line, never would have met him.
That's right. Dude, you should try to get him on the podcast.
Oh, I've tried. He's
Have you
pretty
tried?
good now.
Ah,
And it's mostly, I'll say this, it's mostly timing.
yeah,
He just hasn't found the right time. He hasn't told me no. So
that's right.
yeah. He at
Keep
least
trying.
remembers the time because he
Yeah.
brought that up. He's like, yeah. He's like, it was a little rough. And I mean, I wasn't just being, helping him out. He signed
Mm.
like 100 books of mine.
Oh man.
I mean,
Do you still have it?
it was all, oh, I've still got a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
good,
all,
good.
non Spider-Man Spawn stuff. But
Right.
cool. Nobody has that stuff signed.
That's awesome.
I know. I thought it was pretty good.
That's a good story.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that one. I'm like, that's a
Yeah.
unique story, I think.
Yeah, that's a big
The
deal.
timing was just perfect on it. Yeah,
These
not bad.
conventions are wild.
I'll tell you one more, and then we'll move on to.
Sure, yeah, no, I love it.
I went to a convention just a couple years ago. Well, it may have been pre-2020, so maybe 2018, 2019. There was a line, like you couldn't even see who was at the table, and it was just out the door. And I'm looking around, and you've got like actual stars, known stars, nobody at their line. And then it had like wrestling guys like Ric Flair and some of them. Nobody's at their line. Everybody's trying to get to this one town. I'm like, who the heck's up there? And I get up there and it's a table and it's got 4 of the cast of Dragon Ball Z. That's what everybody.
Oh man,
It's unbelievable how
dude,
popular anime is.
it's incredible. It's
That,
incredible.
that just opened my eyes, and I'm like, all right, podcast wise, I was like, I need to start getting anime people on. So we've gotten some of the voice actors, and then we went after the One Piece cast, and that's been great because it's got
Oh,
such a following.
well, yeah, the One Piece cast is like, I mean, they're kind of hot right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, get the voice actors. I got to befriend Miley Flanagan on Not Dead Yet, and she's the voice of Naruto.
Oh,
And I didn't even know it. But all these like younger guys were coming up to her and being like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." Like it's just such because she was like she hand them swag and like take
that's
pictures
big
and stuff.
time.
Right? And like I'm like, "Who are you?" And she told me and I'm like, "Man, I used to watch your show like all the time. You're part of like mainstream culture." She was incredibly gracious and like one of the funniest people we've ever met.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's huge.
What
It's a
was it? Was
huge.
Dragon Ball Z? Was that your kind of cartoon growing up?
That was, I mean, I was all over the place. So like I would also watch like Hanna-Barbera, Looney Tunes.
A big
Love that.
Hanna-Barbera fan. Yeah.
Right?
I was
Loved.
always it'd be like Space Ghost, Hercules.
Oh,
I was pretty old school with that stuff.
yeah,
Johnny
Thundercats.
Quest.
I love Johnny Quest.
Yeah, that was pretty good. My favorite cartoon all time,
Yeah.
Speed. I love Speed Racer. Just loved it. It was just fun.
It was incredible. That one and Akira, I think were my first
Oh, I loved
animes.
Akira.
Akira, I was like, I didn't know you could draw stuff like this.
Yeah.
And it changed my
Yeah,
life.
it
And
did. Akira, I think, is the biggest reason anime is so popular now.
I think it is.
It was
I
just
think it is.
huge. And Robotech, I used to watch Robotech all the time.
Mhm.
When cable first came out, it was basically just TBS and
That's right.
Robotech on the weekends, and I was
That's
like,
right.
pretty good. Oh, how
Uh,
about the Battle of the Planets?
oh yeah.
And
That's kind of a sleeper one. I feel like that
I
one
like
hasn't
that
like
one.
have
Thundar.
that
Do
in.
you ever watch Thundar
I didn't watch Thundar.
or the Barbarian?
I don't remember that one. But
You
yeah,
can
I
look that one up because it'd be in your wheelhouse. You'd like that.
was yeah, that sounds
Thundar the
like
Barbarian. I think it came out around the time the Conan movies were popular.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we went through an era of that.
we did.
Dudes in
You had the
loincloths with
Barbarian
swords.
era. Yeah,
Yeah, we're like,
Relief
we don't want
Master.
them in a lot of clothes. We want them with heavy weaponry though. Not a ton of armor wise. We're not really concerned about
We're
safety.
not worried about that. Just
No,
they
it's all
need
about
to
the
be able to
attack.
move well
That's right.
and interact with animals usually.
And boots. And yeah, right? Like there was a dress code for these
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Not much of one,
No, not
a
much.
little one.
No. Yeah, you could save. You'd save a lot of money on
Well,
that.
so Josh, I know Big Bang was one of your early ones, but what got you into acting? Because that's a difficult profession to go into. What made you choose that one?
It was an accident.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my gosh, am I an
So
actor?
most actors say, "Oh, I came out of the womb as an entertainer and stuff." I'm like, okay.
To thunderous applause, a microphone in my hand. Said, is this thing on? Um, no, I to be honest, like I wanted to draw comic books when I was younger, and I had all of the like how to draw Marvel and like how to be an animator and
I
ended up
remember those. They actually put out comics called "How to Draw Marvel Comics."
it was awesome. They were insanely unhelpful
Wasn't
because it
it
would
the
be
one?
like
Didn't they have like it was a lot of circles, if I remember?
it was a ton of circles, nothing about anatomy. It was just like, here, draw a couple circles and put sticks in between them, and now your drawing is finished. It's a full Hulk. And you're like, what?
It doesn't look anything like the Hulk.
Mine isn't even close. It was just finished all of a sudden in their version. And you're like, how did you get from point A to point Q? How did you do that? No, there was nothing there. But yeah, I loved that. And then I was always just kind of doing it. I just didn't know I could do it as a career. I didn't think it was. I didn't see anybody on TV that looked like me, and so I was kind of like, I don't know anybody. I was also in LA, but not in the industry. My dad was a longshoreman, and
That's awesome.
it was awesome. Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. I tried my hand at that. Not good at
I
that.
would like to see you in a show where you star as a longshoreman.
So would all of the longshoremen in my family. They'd be like, "This is gonna be great."
I if you'll write it, I'll help fund it.
It would be a definitely a fish out of water story.
Yeah, it could be a
Because
comedy.
that's exactly what happened. Although, like, the drama on the docks is so great.
Comedy.
I love it. I'm like that. They're sleeping on the Long Beach docks. It's incredible. You got all walks of life.
What if
You
you're
got
a failed actor and you're like, you don't know what to do, you're like lost,
yes.
and somebody in your family is like, you can come do the family business, and you end up working as a longshoreman.
I mean, that's pretty great. Like your dad was a boss, he passes away and he
Oh,
leaves you, right? He leaves you in charge, and now you're in charge of this group of longshoremen, but you're this,
I mean,
kind of writes
that's a
itself,
hit.
man. Writes itself.
I'm calling Netflix as soon as we're done talking.
I gotta pick it up. It
I
was
got a pitch
awesome.
for you.
I got a pitch. It's got to have ghosts in
Funny
it though.
longshoreman.
I mean, right? The funniest longshoreman. I mean, it's so great. I
Well,
love
here's
it.
the question though:
Mm.
who's your co-star?
That's a great question. I think it'd have to be a real. It's either like a real man's man, like who would really fit the longshore vibe.
I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking Dolph Lundgren
That would be amazing.
because
I mean,
he's a smart guy.
yes,
Older actor. He looks tough all the time. Like you could put him
he
in one of
does.
the little hats or something, and he'd look like a longshoreman.
He fits the bill for a certain type.
And it would be
Um,
because it'd be you guys are be completely opposite,
we would be.
but you'd want him in his like tough guy persona.
He'd have to be in his tough guy persona. Either him or like a Danny Trejo.
Oh yes,
Like Danny
that,
Trejo would fits
maybe
right
both.
in. Maybe both. Maybe I mean like I would just write it for them. Like I I want to see that buddy cop.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
I would watch that. You know, I mean, I watched him as He-Man, so
Right? Yes. So you'd buy it.
I'd buy it.
For a second I thought you were implying that Danny Trejo was He-Man, and I would love that for a
I'd
million
watch
years.
him. I'd watch him as He-Man or Skeletor if he.
Or Skeletor. By the power of Grayskull, where's my sword? That would be, oh God, I'd love that.
I think we're on to something.
I think we are. We got a couple shows here to
We
pitch.
we need to write this before I put the interview out because somebody else.
Yeah.
It's gonna be gone.
We're copywriting it right now. Just copyright Mike and Josh in this moment, 2024.
That's it. That's
It
it.
is.
If
We did
somebody
it.
happens to steal it though, please
Yeah.
just give us a special thanks. And
In during your Oscar speech. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, that'd be even better. Just
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Mike and Josh. They know what
Yeah.
they do.
They knew exactly what this dream was. Please give them all the monies. Thank you. And listen to the podcast.
That's it. I will sell this idea cheap.
I think cheap. Real cheap. Details on my Patreon.
We're laughing, but when you see this movie getting ready to come out, you're going to be like, "Damn it!"
Damn it, they got it. Oh, gotta call Mike. They got us, Mike.
You're like,
They got us again.
so not dead yet.
Yep.
I resisted watching this show for a little while, and I don't even know why, because I love everybody on the cast. But my wife was watching, and she's like, "It's good."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm caught up now. I'm all caught up, and it is.
Oh.
And what a cast!
Cast is amazing. I understand the resistance. When you get a show that's that you feel like is kind of right down the middle network show,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of like, workplace comedy.
I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the premise, it's a little out there, but not, a lot of shows have weird premises. That wasn't really a deciding factor. I was just like, And I think that was it. There's like networks right now are struggling to put out good content, and they nailed it with that one. And thank goodness, I got on fairly early. I was caught up before the new season.
Okay.
And it just keeps getting better.
There's good stuff. I think there's something kind of for everybody with that show. I'm real glad to hear you say that, because I'm kind of like, we have so many different ends and the characters are so rich.
Well,
right?
that's it. I think you like if an episode follows a particular character, I'm on board because I love
Yeah.
all the characters in there. You know, they're
Yeah.
it's a really good like it seems like the chemistry with the cast is really strong. You know, as a fan, you're looking for that because if it's not, you know, you may
Mhm.
not know what's wrong, but you can tell something's not working on the show. It's usually the chemistry.
I'll tell you the secret too is like the best episodes that we get, the best comedy we get is when we get directors who are just like, okay, we got the stuff that's in the script. Now just have fun.
Oh, I
And
love,
we'll just tear it up.
yeah.
And
We
it's
should be able
the
to.
best time.
It's a very veteran cast.
Yeah. Got a lot of vets.
Yeah.
Got a lot of vets. I think we've hit a sweet spot now where we kind of like, I think we know our show for like the first time after 2 seasons. We've been like, okay, who are we? What do we got? When moving into that third season, if we, God willing, we get it.
You're good. You'll get it.
I hope so, man.
I mean, do you
First
show up
God
and just kind of like you got not like a swagger, but a little bit of swagger because you're just comfortable. You know, third season, you're like, we made it.
There's a little bit of that. There's also a little bit of just like you got real gas in the engine now,
Yeah.
and you're like, how we can cook on like this stuff that we know
Like you
works.
can try some stuff now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's and we've got a great setup for it leading in with the finale of the last season. So I think that'd be pretty great. I'm just saying.
But you know, the part about the show that kind of surprises me is it'll tug at your heartstrings a little bit. You know, some of the stories you're like, oh,
yeah, you're like, oh, I was laughing. Oh, you got me. Like that's the phrase. That's that's the phrase that my family hears whenever it's like they got dad. But yeah, I'll be laughing through something. Even like the pilot episode, we were going through it. We were just reading it in the room or on Zoom even, and like we got to the ending of it, and it was like, you get that little like catch in your throat.
yeah,
and I had read it already, and it's a real testament to David and Casey because they did This Is Us, and that was just all heartstrings.
oh my gosh, I couldn't watch more than an episode at a time because it would just tear me up. I'd have to recover before
I don't have any more tears. I'm out of like fluid to give you. Yeah, that's how it was. And so I'm like, they know how to write that. So they'll make you laugh and kind of get you on the side of the show and have you enjoying it, and then do something like that. It's real rude, honestly.
It really is. They
it is rude.
Straighten up.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, they gotta get their act together.
Do you remember the Big Bang episode where they're looking through a telescope, and I think it was Raj, and he says, the good wife is crying. Something's very wrong. He's looking into somebody's, and they're watching the good wife. That's how. This Is Us. I was that way with Mandy Moore. I was like, Mandy Moore is upset. This can't be good.
Oh, so good. Yes, that's exactly right. You're like, oh no, not Mandy. Anybody else, it's like I can deal, but
deal with that.
Right?
Can't deal with Mandy.
Got a heart of gold.
What a show, though. Good grief.
Incredible. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that that people connected with that show would put out a good comedy, and they Not Dead Yet. Really good. Really good.
Oh, good.
I mean, if you told somebody that premise, you'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't sold.
Yeah, but you watched the first episode and you're like, okay, yeah, I see where that could work.
I see what they're going for. Yeah, because it's, you kind of have expectations hearing like, oh, yeah, this is this lady who writes obituaries and she can see ghosts that she's writing about. And you're kind of like, all right, like which version of this is it gonna be? Like, ooh, sort of silly, like ghosts are getting her into trouble.
Slapsticky.
It could be.
Yeah, but it's not.
It doesn't. Yeah, it takes a different bend. It's really well written.
My favorite episode was you trying to make that basket.
That is very true to life, except for me that was golf.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
I can't golf to save my life. Every year my dad and his family would do a golf trip where we go Thanksgiving Day, we go golfing in the morning. And one year I'm like, I'm gonna bring my girlfriend with me because that seems like a good idea. Me and all these longshoremen and my girlfriend. And they put me in a squad with the best young golfers that they had.
Of course.
I was behind the entire time, and there's like a shining moment that I remember. I'll never forget it. We're trying to hit over this lake. First guy goes whack over the lake. Second guy goes over the lake. Girlfriend goes over the lake. My turn. Plunk.
Of
And I
course.
was just so furious. I stomped off. I went and got my ball and I put it on the ground. And my girlfriend was like, "Hey," she's not my wife. She was like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, I just want to hit the ball." And I put all of my frustration into that ball, and it just whack. I hit it as hard as I physically could, and I saw it sail about 4 feet above the ground and right into the kidneys of the best dude on the
Oh.
course. It just,
Well,
I
it
just,
served him right. He had
he
it.
just, you know what? He had it coming. You're right. He just crumbled.
Well, if you ever hit the kidneys, it hurts.
I haven't, but I imagine it's really bad because he looked distraught for the rest of the day. His golf went
Did you
downhill.
walk up to him and say like 4?
I was like, "You see how I do things? Hmm? You see that?" No, he still beat me, but
He's swinging one-handed because he's just
that's right.
over.
That's right.
My last golf outing, I went with my dad, who's the reason I was trying to learn to golf because he's a really good golfer, and I just want to spend time with him. So I went with him and my wife and her dad. Her dad's also a good golfer.
Ugh.
And I was by far, it wasn't even close, the worst of the foursome. I mean, 90% of the balls I hit, the swing looked great, but it was always like 2 inches too high. So at best, I grazed the ball and it would just dribble. I got so angry. This has been years ago, and thankfully I've calmed down. But
Oh, thank goodness.
it like even thinking about it, it brings up the feelings of anger that I had
I
at
can see the pain in your
at
eyes.
everything. It wasn't just the ball. I was mad at everything because
At everything.
it was so bad. I was like, I told my dad, I was like, we got to find something else.
We got to do another sport. How do you feel about pickleball?
That's it.
Let's just pick something else, something I can do.
I started taking him to golf tournaments.
Oh,
My solution. So
okay.
like next week we're going to the PGA championships, and next month we're going to US Open. I'm like, how about I do that?
You became an appreciator of the game.
That's it. I was
That's
like,
wise.
then I don't have to hit anything.
Yeah, no. It's not what it's
Like I
about.
wasn't hitting anything anyway. I was swinging it like a baseball bat.
Just 2 inches lower, you would have really. Just take off your shoes next time.
I was like, toss this up there kind of like it's a baseball because I will hit the hell out of it.
Just pitch it to me.
Just to me.
I'll send it over your head. Like just.
I forgot that you were in Love.
Yes.
That was another show that I looked at it and I'm like, this thing is not going to be any good. And it was great. I love it.
Yeah. That was a great one. That was a weird show for me because they were like, it was a comedy, right?
Yeah.
And they wanted me playing like this really dramatic role. And so like it was just weird because like the director had seen my audition and he came up to me and it was the first time anyone treated me like a dramatic actor, which I didn't realize they treat you different, but he was kind of like, "So when you studied Shakespeare, like what did you wear?" And I'm like, okay. I can go into this, but like it was very strange because the whole time I'm like, I'm funny, give me something funny to do.
Funny.
I could do that. I could do funny things. And like I was there with Paula Pell and like, all these really
You were
hilarious.
in a scene with other comedians, but not allowed to be funny.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's a very I can't imagine what it's like.
Show.
Yeah. It is it's an offbeat show, but like
it's basically about the romance of those two people, but they're odd people.
Yeah, they're both kind of trash people.
Right.
In their own way. You're watching two trash people fall in and out of love. That's what it is. Yeah, it was weird. It felt weird to do that. Very good.
Watching the finished product, I'm like, that was a good show.
Yeah. Very kind of off the beaten path, though. It was a good one.
And you've speaking of voice acting, you've done a bunch of voice acting with some children's fare, and I'm a granddad. I'm a pawpaw.
Oh, you're a pawpaw.
I'm watching a lot of that stuff.
You're into it.
I'm into it.
Are you watching Bluey? Are you on Bluey yet?
Oh my gosh, Bluey. And
admittedly, masterpiece.
Bluey's pretty good as an adult.
It's very good. Just watch.
We had Melanie that does the voice for Chili on the show.
No way.
It is. I mean, it's not even close. That is by far our most watched episode. It's not
Because
even
she's
close.
incredible.
And
Yeah.
yeah, what people don't know is in Australia, she's kind of a big time actress.
Oh, really?
Just a voice actress. She does a lot of drama and romance, and
Oh,
she does a lot of stuff. She's just a good actress, but then just happened to kind of fall into blue.
wow. I mean, can you? I mean, I've always wondered about that. Like, if you look at like your oeuvre of work and like all you've done, and then if it's sort of like, yeah, but you did that Trident gum commercial,
Yeah.
and the way you bit into that thing, uh,
Amazing.
across the people in India are like, that was incredible. Like,
I talked to it's an actress comedian, but one of her first roles was she was, I don't know if you remember this one, but Kmart used to do this commercial for Ship My Pants.
yes,
She was that woman.
get out of
And
here.
she said, I've done all this acting, this dramatic work, funny
Yeah.
work, all this stuff, and I'm known for being the Ship My Pants.
Oh no. That's like the that's like the Taco Bell guy.
Oh,
The who
yeah.
did Yo Quiero Taco Bell as the little dog. He's like, don't talk to me about it. I don't want to hear about it.
Well,
If
I'd
you
have
love it,
leaned into that.
I would have leaned into it. I would get a dog. I would get a Chihuahua just to bring with me.
Yeah, just so you can kind of hold him while you're doing the voice.
Yeah, we're trying to order stuff at like restaurants. So like, oh yeah, I'm gonna actually get the it's a ceviche fresh. Oh,
Do you
this?
think he goes to the Taco Bell drive-through and talks like that when he orders?
I couldn't help myself. If that was me, I'd have to do it.
Oh, I'd 100% do it.
I would have to do it. I've only done I've a handful of voices, and I'm already like, how can I lucratively use these to mess with people?
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah,
You'd have to do that.
that's a
So
requirement.
we're on Paw Patrol now, which
Yes,
I was thinking because you do that work with Pupstruction.
I do.
What if Paw Patrol visited?
I 1,000%. Let's do that. That's our next. See, this is an ideas.
Giving these away for free.
This is a creative think tank
Mhm.
more than a podcast.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I have misrepresented what we're doing here. We're brainstorming.
I'm
I
sure
can
you're.
get a few people to get good ideas that I can try to sell.
I feel like I can feel your son's eye roll from this side of the country where he's just like, ugh.
Guarantee it's happening. So I know we got to wrap up pretty soon, but I wanted to
Sure.
bring up Upload.
Yes.
I'm curious because I've interviewed a lot of actors on there, and a lot of them are Canadian.
That's
So
right.
I'm curious how you got on that show being an American.
I'll tell you, like, it was one of the weirdest things ever because Greg Daniels is the creator of that show. He also did The Office. He did Parks and Rec.
Oh, those
He's
little shows.
those, yeah, maybe you've heard of it. I don't know, just little one-offs. And like, he was casting this show. I had like 3 other auditions that day. I went into this one. They told me like the day of, oh, this is the Greg Daniels show. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, yeah. And I barely had time with the script. I go in, I read. The lady I'm auditioning with is mouthing my lines to me. I cannot tell you how awful of an audition this was. And it wasn't even like a week later. And Greg was like, that guy. I didn't go back for a second read. They hadn't even cast
That
the
never
main
happened.
people. It never happens. And to this day, I'm still like, Greg, what? I'm like, can I see the tape? What was it? And like, I wasn't doing anything else. And he was like, this guy, he was even like, I know Josh is going to be busy. Let's see if he can do Upload. And I'm like, I'm not. What do you mean? Like my free improv shows? Is that what you think you're taking me away from? This is not, I don't think so. And he just got me right off the bat.
That's awesome.
I still haven't figured it out. I've asked him, and he's kind of a black box of a human being. He's a little bit like Gandalf, where you're just like, what's going on in there? Like, he just kind of comes and goes, drop knowledge, and then he'll leave.
Someday you'll figure it out.
When after I've taken the ring to Mordor, yeah.
That's it.
And
You'll
then I'll be
figure it
like, there
out,
it
and
is.
then you'll just be walking outside, and he'll be standing there. Finally got it.
Full wizard garb as well, just for no reason. Just I'm coming out of an Erewhon, and he's just like, "Oh hey, you figured it out. I was summoned."
I I mean, do you feel like an Ivan?
Oh, Ivan is very accessible to me.
Yeah.
Ivan is very, very accessible. I just date myself back to college and I go
You were
erase.
believable in the role. That's why I asked, because it.
I love him. I love him. He's what I love most about him is that he's not just a garbage dude, which he totally is, but there are these little moments with him that are just like, oh, there's a person in there.
That's
And
right.
I think that you're right. And I'm just like, oh, he's thinking things and he's learning in his own little weird way. Um, I absolutely love him. I can't wait to see. We just got our last season, uh, and I'm like, what are you guys gonna do with him?
Yeah.
Treat
They
him
got to
right.
have a good wrap up with him.
Oh, I think so. Gotta do something. Yeah, gotta do something. I'm guessing it's gonna be with the
I mean,
Roomba.
speaking of quirky shows, that's a quirky show.
That is high quirk.
Yeah.
That is high level quirk on that one.
What if I'm jumping back because I can't get it out of my head.
Absolutely.
What if our Longshoreman movie is
Yes.
a comedy horror movie?
Oh, I have often thought because it's an interesting place when you go there to the docks. What
Yeah.
if it was like a zombie, like we're trapped?
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like we
yeah.
can't go in the water because there's zombie sharks and like there's these really huge cranes and like trucks and it's a scary place to be at night. Man,
I like it.
it's yeah, it's right for something.
See, I see that I wonder if we could, because my thought was, what if we did it with like a Cthulhu like story?
I love that.
Well,
I
you put
love
the
that.
zombies in there,
You could put I mean, I feel like
whatever you want.
that's in the Cthulhu world. Once you introduce him as a character, he's got a squid face. All bets are off.
Which, by the way,
Hmm.
don't bother playing that role playing game. You won't last more than about 15 minutes. Because you're basically, at best, you've got like a 1930s pistol that
That's
you're
right.
trying to shoot, a deity.
You're gonna lose that
You're
100%.
going to lose.
That's the end of our film as well. Is it just like you gave your best effort, it's not enough. That's it.
Yeah, it does it like it just, you got like Cthulhu
Hmm.
and he kills everybody at the
Yeah.
end of it and then just kind of fades away and that's the end. They'd be like, what? I was like, it's a Cthulhu movie. What
It's
did
like
you
a.
expect?
Would you think you were gonna win? No,
If
that's
you've
not how
not
this
read
works.
Lovecraft, come on. Those stories don't end well.
My only caveat is I would love Cthulhu to have just kind of like the same jaded energy that I came in with. Like this is a Tuesday for him, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta kill these
Yeah.
humans."
Could we
Okay.
have Nick Cage voicing
Oh,
Cthulhu?
that would be awesome. My friend does his voices for trailers. So like when you need Nick Cage to explain something, but you can't get Nick Cage into to do the voice, he does his voice, which is really cool. And he did the impression for me one time, and I'm like, wow, that doesn't sound anything like Nicolas Cage. But I'm glad you're getting the work,
That actually makes it better.
right?
There's
He's
got
a
to
lucky
be,
man.
that's a character in something is a guy that thinks he can do a good Nick Cage.
I know so many guys who think they can do good some things and are really bad at it. Like I someone was like, "Oh, can you do a voice match for Morgan Freeman?" And I'm like, "No, I can't. I can't sound like Morgan Freeman." But I tried anyway, and they called me back. I didn't get the role, but I was still like, "You called me back?"
We just want to see if you've improved on it.
We assumed you would get better because the bar was so low.
Oh,
So now I just use it for Instagram videos where I narrate random things like going to McDonald's as Morgan Freeman because I think it's very funny.
that's hilarious.
That's where your skills as an actor go.
Yeah, like go
Is
through a
it
drive-through and stuff.
as Morgan Freeman? Yeah. Sometimes I'll forget midway through, and my wife will be like, "You ordered as Morgan Freeman. You have to pick up as Morgan Freeman." Oh, sorry.
They recognize that it's Morgan Freeman, though.
They're they're just like it's kind of an approximation, I
They're
guess.
just like, here's your food.
Yeah. Here, just take
Like,
just take
oh,
this and go
you
away.
can get it.
I didn't get the chance.
What would be hilarious is if you go to pick up the food and Morgan Freeman happened to be in the restaurant and is standing there at the window.
He's giving you the stankiest face, like you think you're
And
funny.
just there shaking his head as you're driving.
Yeah, you can't. That was bad. I came here to work at this McDonald's to tell you to stop. Stop doing this.
He just works here on the side for something to do. Yeah, Morgan's our fry guy.
Maybe he's our Cthulhu voice in the end,
Oh my gosh.
right? Where he's just, but not like
Would you
epic
be
Morgan
scared
Freeman.
of Cthulhu though if it's Morgan Freeman doing the voice?
But it's such a warm, inviting,
I'm thinking,
you
oh,
know.
Cthulhu.
Oh, how nice. But he's killing off like all the people you care about, but he's just like, "Oh, hello, Mike. Wonderful to see you today. I'm going to murder your family."
I hear him in that. That's
Yeah, see?
yeah.
We'll have him audition. We'll have him audition.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not guaranteeing him anything.
No. Definitely
But
not
you can't
money.
just, ride your previous work into this project.
Yeah, it's a high point for him. He'd love to do it.
You're gonna have to bring your A game.
That's right.
Shawshank was okay, but we're gonna need the next level.
It was okay. I'm gonna need you to step it up. All right.
We're trying to make one of the best of all time.
Cthulhu on the docks. Okay.
Cthulhu on the docks. That's exact there. Right there's our pitch deck right there.
Man, this thing writes itself.
It's getting easier. Well, Josh, thank you for taking a little bit of time. I knew this was going to be fun. I've had the best time.
Oh, Mike, this was awesome, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. So a couple of little things before I let you go.
Sure.
Anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
I post random videos of myself doing the dumbest things I can think of
I know, I
on
love
Instagram.
that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Season 4 of Upload is shooting this summer and should be out sometime in the next year.
It's crazy.
And then send all of the letters and all the love to Not Dead Yet so we can get that season 3.
We got to get that renewed because
love it.
I love season 1. I thought season 2 was even better.
Yeah, man, I love it. That's such a great show.
It is. I give you a good. This is a quick Brad Garrett story.
Oh, I love Brad. Okay.
So I'm in Vegas and they're doing a celebrity poker tournament and he's the MC. With that, so it had him and Ray Romano and a bunch of them there, and I'm just standing watching. I'm in the crowd outside the little ropes watching the tournament, and a guy standing next to me, and he's like, "You want to see something cool?" It's some random guy, and I'm like, "All right."
Yes, I do.
And I'm thinking, I hope it's cool. I hope it's not something violent.
I hope it's not weird.
I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it turns out this guy was the stunt double for Brad Garrett and Ray Romano, both of them.
What?
So he's like, "Hey, Ray." He brings them over, introduces me and stuff to him. And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty, this is pre-podcast days. So
wow.
I wasn't able to take advantage of the opportunity, but I was like, that turned out to be a pretty cool thing. I was like, thank you.
That's so wild.
He was right. I did see something cool.
Then he took my kidneys, but the first part was
then
great.
I woke up in a bathtub and I
full of ice, just going, yep, this is what I get. This is it.
Last thing, Josh, before I let you go, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, I am at Josh Banday on pretty much everything. Instagram, Twitter, if I ever get on that ever again. And I
only keep mine so I can go on there and see the craziness once in a while. I was like, what's going on today? Yep, still crazy.
Yeah. Oh, is this still nuts? Yeah. It's like you go to the circus to see if they've changed anything, and it's like, no, the circus is still the circus.
Go back to Instagram.
That's right. Let's go back to where it's safe. Here we are. Thank goodness.
Instagram is what Facebook was for about 10 minutes.
And now Facebook's crazy. Facebook is crazy too. Is wild.
When it came out, it was like, oh, this is great. We can reconnect with people and show our pictures, and then we lost it.
It went off the deep end.
Yeah.
Gotta rein that thing back in.
Instagram.
Instagram is that's the place to find me. That's where I hang out mostly.
That's it. Show me your funny things in the food you're eating. That's what I want.
That's all I want. Your food and your humor. Oh, I'm also on TikTok for as long as that's gonna last.
Oh yeah. Are you dancing on TikTok?
I have one dance because I had to do it for like an audition.
That's brave.
And I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? So I danced, and all of my friends made fun of me. They all it just
And
came raining in like arrows in a war movie. It was like they all
exactly
pitched in.
why there's no video of me dancing.
Oh, I would love to see that. I would.
Not.
We get the here it is. If we get the Cthulhu on the Docks movie made,
Okay, deal. Done.
there is an exclusive post credits
Oh, yes.
of you, sir, and
And,
and I'm gonna say like a Janet Jackson,
ooh.
you know what I mean, kind of background dancer.
Yeah, can I have that outfit, but just basically do the middle school sway, just side to side kind of.
I'm gonna say yes on the outfit, no on the choreo. It's gonna have to be involved. It's gonna be involved. We have
Well,
to
now that's
entertain the
different.
people.
If you're bringing in a choreographer, okay,
Oh, absolutely.
it'll still be terrible, but
They're gonna yeah, it'll be
at
them
least
and
I'll
you
have
side by
actual
side.
moves that I'm attempting.
Yes, we want to see what it's supposed to look like, and then next to you, an approximation.
This is like our longshoreman. That's $1 billion idea. This is
It is.
like maybe a 10-cent idea.
We'll tack it on at the end. We've got the budget for it.
That's true. If it's just an after credits, it's just a
Yeah,
bunch.
it's an after credits. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
an after they do the thing where it ends and it goes black.
Yep.
Then maybe a minute later it comes back on. And there's the dance.
I'm gonna say we're gonna give it a fade to black, and you get that like from the motion picture, blah blah blah, and then we're
And it
hitting it
comes
with
back.
you. That's right. And then we tease a superhero at the end for the next for the next installment.
This movie is amazing. I'm
Yeah,
100%.
let's go. Let's make it.
All right, Josh, hold on one second. I love Josh. I'm such a fan. He is a terrific actor. I loved him from the first time I saw him on Big Bang. I've loved him in everything since. I hope you enjoyed that interview. He was terrific. We hit on most of what I wanted to talk about. He had an appearance on Mom that he was great in. He was on Adam Runs Everything. He also had a couple of appearances in the Pam and Tommy miniseries that came out. Josh is terrific. If you haven't checked out Not Dead Yet, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's funny, and we don't have a ton of, in my opinion, good network comedies right now. That is definitely one of them. So check that out. You're going to love it. It's really, really good. Thank you guys for tuning in again this week. Really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. If you check us out, it's free. Helps us a ton. Our website is meistercon.com, so please check us out there. We've got almost 800 episodes, audio and video, on the website, so please check us out, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Two Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. Not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. Those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. just hit subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.